it's recording now. So it forgets, sometimes this software too, this operating system is like Windows. It forgets what the heck it's supposed to be doing. So
Yeah,
you
mine
can
does
have to
that
just
too.
reset it, and it's recording now. Okay, so I don't have to download it at the moment. We'll just unplug it, and we'll keep our start our recording right here. All right, this is the start of the video. See, how about that?
Okay.
See, we're complaining about stupid software that forgets what it's supposed to be doing. Okay. So
It can't remember
this
everything.
is my friend Carol, by the way. She don't want to show up on camera, but her voice on camera is fine.
Oh,
Right?
okay. Yep.
Okay. And then sometimes she assists me. You could be called my assistant once in a while. On the laptop, you have an intern, huh? You want to be called an intern? Okay. So you're learning what from
I'm
me?
your assistant.
Physics?
Yes.
She's learning physics from me. Well, we implore you then to go watch every lecture on YouTube of Walter Lewin. Okay? And watch
Okay.
every lesson and do every problem.
Is that my homework assignment?
That's your homework. Walter Lewin's lessons are my homework for you. And then you bring your homework to me and we'll talk about it.
Okay. You
And
got
then
it.
any questions you have about his stuff, I will answer for you.
All right.
And then
Okay.
I will also give you other clues of insights because, well, we have deep insight to how things work. Because you might think I'm crazy, but we did it. How about that? We're
There you go.
responsible for all of it. We're sorry we
Absolutely.
created life. But now that it's here, we want it to be peaceful, please. That's what we're going for. We want peace on earth. Okay. That's what we've always strived for. We're the thing that upsets us most, the part of the reason why I'm psychotic through all several lives so far is because of the not having peace on earth. It disturbs me knowing now that right now somebody's getting stabbed right where Jesus got stabbed. It bothers me to know right now that somebody is getting shot. It bothers me to know somebody's planning war. It bothers me to know that the president, the stupid idiot president that doesn't get enough sleep, that's why he's an idiot. No disrespect, please. Get some sleep, Mr. Trump. Please. Okay. All right. That's why he's planning the Space Force. For war. We don't need war. We need peace on earth. That's why I wrote that song. The one I'm still working on. Working on right now. It's called Pad 1. It's one of the new age sounds. Anyway, so yeah, we need peace on earth. That's what this song is really about. It was from Friday the 13th from our Mixer, and it was Bruce got mad, got all upset, whatever, and then later Scott got all upset, and it inspired this song though, because the song became something for all of humanity, because it's happened that way a lot.
I don't know what you might teach me. I don't know if you
I need to, like I said, really do these vocals.
I may not know anything at all. Check.
Okay, this is on. Good. Anyway, for right now, we're not working on that. But we can talk through this. We're going to do right now, this is another episode. This is a Friday. And we're going to do an episode of Music Fact for Everyone. We're going to recap. We're going to do Friday, and then we're going to recap the whole month and kind of explain some of the things about where the musical modes got their names, the Greek names, their words from the Greek language. They have their source before they were ever used as musical modes. They were ancient sacred words in ancient times. Ionian. The word Ionian, the Greek word Ionian, also, well, the short version of it is ion. Everybody today knows what an ion is. Do you, Carol?
Refresh my memory.
Do you know what an ion is?
No. Tell me what an ion is.
Here, I'll do that. This is good. Do I have the pitch? Yeah. Oh. We turn on a little light here. Let me do it this way instead. Check this out. This was, I didn't do, this is an episode of Real Life Recycled, but you know what these parts are?
No.
This was some piece from something else that just happened to have the same thread as a mic stand piece that had a hole in it. It's like I looked at that, it's like, oh, here's a carriage bolt.
Okay.
That it puts through there. And then this was a piece from some stand or whatever that just happened to fit the carriage bolt. And then this metal piece is one of those screens. The screen was, see, I got the pitch bit on the low frequency. Pretty cool. Isn't that cool? The screen was broken. So I took the screen, took the screen out, and I took some cloth, this gold cloth here, and I sat down like a little girl seamstress, and I took some old rags, lined them up, and rolled them around the mic stand, the microphone, to make a tube. And then I took this cloth, which was already a tube, and I put it in and pulled the outside around it, sewed all the way around it, and then turned it inside out and stuffed it in there. And it makes a shock mount for the microphone.
Smart.
Oh, and then you see the mic, I put a hair tie on the back side of the mic that helps hold it after it's in there so it doesn't fall out. And we have a shock mounted microphone clip. Only downfall is you can't take it off. But that's why we reuse fine old little seat clamp. Take the seat clamp. Oh, this is a good one. Watch this. You know this one. Okay, you ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the little dog. Imagine a little dog. I'm going to get Sabrina to do this. It would be great. Okay, imagine a little dog down here is told up. Okay, pay no attention to the girly man behind the curtain. Don't hold back your laughter, Carol. It's impossible. It's impossible to hold back your laughter.
Man, that's weird.
Okay, so anyway, it's like, so somebody comes up and says, excuse me, sir. And they turn around and say, hey, who you calling sir? And then they say, oh, sorry, ma'am. Hey, who you calling ma'am? You know what this is?
On the left. I don't know what you're calling it.
Here. You know what it is? From here to there, when I throw it, try to catch it, I'll land it in the couch. That was a UFO. Now what is it? I know what it is, not a UFO. Do you still know what it is? To you, it's a UFO. To me, it's not. What is it? Look at it. What is it? It's a common item.
Candy.
Yeah, it's the top from a frosting. But I use it here. Fly it back now. Now it's identified. It's not a UFO anymore. You flew it upside down. Anyway, I use it for this. I might put it in a song. Let's hear that for a second. Pretty good? Okay, good. Alright, hey, not bad. Okay, anyway, let's get on with the music fact for everyone. We're gonna recap first. It's Friday. The G Mixolydain mode. G, A, B, C, E, F, and G. But you know what? We want to recap the modes, all of them, while we tell this little story about what the names of the modes came from. The C Ionian mode, we're down to C. Can you see those lines?
Mm-hmm.
You can? The camera can't, I bet you. Okay. But, okay, so we get here. The camera can't see nothing. So let's zoom in for a second so you can see the lines. Okay, it's C Ionian mode. Oh, here's one of my hooks. That was my little special thing I invented here. Let me show you those. These, they're on the mic stand. They're for holding goodies. And I come up with another idea. Hook, and hook goes here and hang off the thing, and then it'll hang the surplus of cords and things.
Okay.
You know? But you got to remember to unhook it before you move the microphone. Every time I do that, she runs. Okay, anyway. Oh, really? It'll be great for Halloween. Okay. This would be the funniest episodes of this show we ever did. Okay, so I'm going to share it that way too. I'm going to share it everywhere. This is the funniest episode of this we ever did. You got to watch this. All right, anyway. Oh, you will? Yeah, you will. You'll laugh again, won't you? You'll laugh every time I do that. Every time you know you ran to the room almost when I said, every time. You laugh like crazy when I say, pay no attention to the girly man behind the curtain. All right, C Ionian mode. The Ionian mode means singularity. That's what the Ion means. It means a singularity. Every time I do that, she's like, ah. All right, so a singularity. This was what the Ionian meant. So that's why, well, see, later on, Pope Gregory, after the Greek musicians chose the names to put them with the music, Pope Gregory came along and go, okay, well, let's call Sunday B. Sunday is the mode we're going to use for the chanting. The papal chants are in the Locrian mode. Okay. Now, so in the month of August, Locrian mode is note B. Yeah. Okay. Well, why? Well, it's Sunday. That automatically said C is Monday, and it automatically, guys, he didn't even know he was taking arbitrarily, chose Sunday for the chant, and set Monday as an Ionian mode. And Monday, phonically, from the root of it all, if you study phonics and learn what phonics are, that means the root sounds of things. The move, to move from stagnation, okay, was to move. But was before moving, was mono, a singularity. A singularity! Yeah, we were just hanging out, all of us. Here's how it really worked. Before the Big Bang, okay, and they're preparing for the Big Bang. So we're going to get into some astrophysics and a little bit of, since we're on the subject of what they used to call music theory, which we're calling music fact, because it is mathematically sound, and they figured out all this stuff. Okay, it's not theory, it's knowledge, it's stuff, sound. It's got foundation and mathematical proof, and you can prove it with measurement and science. We know the guitars work when you divide the string in two. Okay, we know it is a doubling in frequency. You can measure that now and prove it with experimental proof. It can be proven, and that's what gives it, whether it's fact or not, if it's proven. Okay, so it's proven, so it's fact. Okay, that's why I call it music fact for everyone, because it's not theory. Now, but since we're on the subject of theory and fact, Okay, we can, as epistemologists, go, well, we could study theory a little bit and be theologists. And then we can talk about other theories like music, the theories of music, or the theories of religion, or the theories of science, like the theories of cosmology, and those ones that aren't proven yet. They're not proven yet. No. Like some principles in string theory, and some principles in particle theory, even though they found the Higgs boson particle, which is the one. See, we did have a rare opportunity years ago. We were living in Phoenix. It was not too long after I met Karen. Stephen Hawking was visiting the clinic in Henderson. There was a Henderson clinic that dealt with ALS that he would go visit. And cat buses had been up and running for a little while. So Stephen, in his way, I thought I would take a cat bus. I thought I would ride a cat. That's what he said to me when we met. Yeah, so we got a good conversation. He'd ride from the downtown center all the way to Henderson, Nevada, all the way out past, far out towards Lake Mead is where the clinic was. And Karen and I were camping out there. We had just moved from Pahrump here because we had left this one situation we were in and we got involved in another situation. I was helping a friend of mine, the same one I told you about, my friend that I was visiting, and I had that visitation through the window. And I looked through the window, there was a peeping alien. Yeah, you could say that. Anyway, so yeah, that visitation, where I got my mission from, and call it psychosis if you will, but what I invented from it is fabulous, and it does work because I use physics. Because physics is everything. Yeah. Don't ever forget it. Okay. Yeah, I know. Anyway, all right. So yeah, the Ionian meant singularity, mono. Okay, so think like that. See, let's go way back before the Big Bang and think like we were all having no bodies. We were all without the life of a body. We had only the life of a soul. We were all one at that point. We were the God, if you will, the prime deity. Okay? So, from there we decided to do. We decided to do Om, the sound of the sun. I could play a track for you. Oh, let's see, where is it? In screen captures? Yeah, that's where I captured it. I think I'm allowed to do this on YouTube. It's a NASA thing. Where is it?
Not sure.
Well, we'll find out. I'll put it up there for a second and find it. It's a full-on desktop. There it is. All right. Don't open on the other side, please. Oh, good, it opened it. I don't want it open on the other side because the other side's got this other screen. Okay, it's not open. Anyway, it's the sound of the sun. And you know what sound it is? Om. It's the Om, the meditation sound. It's not opening up. It's fine. I don't want to open it for you. Sorry. Here it is. The sound of our sun. That's what the sun sounds like. All right. That's enough. Anyway, let's get a guitar tuner out. And let's play it. You know what? I'll play it one more time. I want to see what the pitch is. This is science now. I'm allowed to do this. We're replaying it now for sake of science. Okay? We just have a pitch. We can read the pitch with the tuner. The tuner is plenty accurate enough. I'm reading approximately 138.59. Oh, now it's shifted. It's a little above C#3.
Oh, wait. Do it. Sure.
So it's going to sharpen me. It changes pitch. But it's about C#. Wow, how about that? Alright, anyway, so that was interesting. Anyway, so let's get on to why Tuesday, they chose Dorian mode, the name Dorian, for Tuesday. Well, what is a Tuesday in the first place? What does duality mean? Where does the word duality come from? What language? What language did the word duality come from? We're pulling up the internet. Our page. We normalize our website as our main page, so we can see it working every time it comes up. Call it obsessive, call it thorough, whatever. Call it exercising in the Friday and in Saturday. Fruition and saturation. Yeah, so we're going to give the meanings of the words. Tuesday means twain. And the word twain also means duality. But we're going to find out where the word duality comes from. Tuesday.
Let's see. I'll find it.
We're going to say, where, what language? U-A-G, I think that's how you spell language. Is the word duality. D-U-A-L-I-T-Y. Okay.
Found it.
You found it? You found it first. As hinted by the word dual, within it duality refers to having two parts, often with opposite meanings, like the duality of good and evil. If there are two sides to a coin, metaphorically speaking, the duality, another term for duality is a dichotomy. And I'll give you another one. The duality of magnetic fields. The duality of matter as matter and antimatter. But that's one of their questions. That's one of the physicists' questions. Our friend Mikhail Kaku, everybody's friend. You can talk to him you can talk to him on his radio program every Saturday. I gotta find out what the times are. I got his phone. I want to talk to him on the radio. You can listen for me. Anyway, so anyway, let's move on to it. We go up we go up one step in the scale, and we're on the note D, which is the first letter of the word duality. Okay. And guess what? See, in the beginning when we were all, this is the theological, philosophical kind of, I don't want to call it religious. We'll call it philosophical. I like that word. That way it's safe from being called heretical. If you call it philosophy, you can't be called heretical. Anyway, so. I love that. Anyway. Yeah, okay. We're going to be past duality in a minute and be into Wednesday and be talking about weddings. I kid you not, really. Now, so, anyway, well, yeah, because you think from the Ionian, from the singularity, okay, when all our souls were a singularity, and let's think like this. We had a number of big black holes where they're right at the prime, where the little tetrahedron, which is the center of all the sum of the mass of all our universe, from our particular supergiant, massive giant black hole, at the point of the maximum size of a black hole, because that's another one the physicists can't answer, they don't know, is how big a black hole can get. I'll tell you how big a black hole can get. It can get as big as our universe. That's it. How about that? Think like that. Our bubble came from a black hole. Somewhere out there, there's a supergiant black hole that's ready to pop. And somewhere out there, before our big black hole popped, was one that did. And as each part of a galaxy cluster expanded away from the explosion, which our explosion, our particular Big Bang, we're still banging. We've not reached maximum velocity yet. See, every explosion, no matter what explosion, even a firecracker, even though how instantaneous it may seem to us, has an onset, a slew rate, where the matter around it, from the precipice, from the epicenter of the explosion, that's the point where the crack happens, where the explosion begins. In the case of our galaxy, the singularity, the tetrahedron at the center of all the mass. I don't know how that works, and the black holes come together. And the center of the black hole is a tetrahedron of Higgs bosons. The Higgs boson comes from protons, so they're breaking apart, and you get all different, the Y bosons, the D bosons, all the standard model. All that has been found, down to the Higgs boson particle. Everything Stephen Hawking and I had in our conversation we spoke of, they found. Okay, now they're looking for strings, and I don't know what strings are about. Now we feel that it's the particles floating in the strings, and the strings are really like little balls or little hooky loop things. That's our gravity. Okay, that's the gravity waves travel. That's the thing, everything floating in it. That's what's responsible for when we feel the effect of momentum, when our moment of inertia is disturbed, when we go from maximum inertia to zero inertia. When we're no longer inert, like an inert gas doing nothing, like inertial propulsors that do very little. Okay, all right. So on to the Dorian mode was the duality. Twain came from the monaural. So like split in two. So you think like the tetrahedron in the middle of it. I'll make a little model with my fingers. There's a tetrahedron. And pressure, here comes a piece. Here comes a piece from a neighboring universe that's it's already reached its maximum velocity. It's been expanding for a long time, and it's just a simple galaxy cluster that comes along to the giant black hole. Giant black hole. Supermassive universe-sized black hole before it's a universe. And here comes this little tiny piece of a galaxy cluster, but that's way too big. And it hits the event horizon and goes pip like that, and that's just enough to make that tetrahedron at the center of it, because it's at critical mass, it makes it go pow! And that makes the rest of it, like a regular any other explosion, go pow! And we're still going pow! We're still going pow! One day we will reach maximum velocity in the expansion. See, that makes sense. That's our dark energy. Our dark energy is just leftover momentum. Okay? Momentum is still being applied from the expansion, because the sum of it, the dark matter, which is the stuff we can't see that makes up the superficial gas that would occur, like when a firecracker goes off, the gas explosion around the air and all that stuff is equatable to the air. In a smaller explosion, the same stuff. Okay? It's the stuff, the little stringy things that why we feel momentum. You go outside of, I imagine, can't test this theory yet, but I imagine we get out of this place where there's dark matter, we will have no gravity. Maybe no momentum. Might be gravity still. Gravity would be the dark matter. So might know momentum, because we might feel momentum in the absence of dark matter. Because the dark matter might be that very thing that's doing that. Okay? Yeah, that's a good model, huh? All right, moving on to the Phrygian mode. Everybody knows about freaking. That's what Phrygian means, because you think like that. When the duality, where we're all tired of being nothing and being stagnant, and decided that to do, and this is how it happened. We attached onto this big black hole when it went to do, and kaboom, and here it is, we are. And in our duality, it came, that's the idea of splitting it, and then, but it really wasn't anything until you have to incite motion, and that's what happens from collisions. This happens this way. See? When one thing hits an object here at an angle, it incites spin on both of them. Okay? They become entangled in reverse spin from one to the other. Velocity, or frequency is a better word to describe angular motion. Okay? And frequency, according to its mass. Large mass versus a smaller mass, and for instance, our moon versus the Earth. But in the case of our Earth, well, they ended up with, well, you can see that. Our Earth rotates more days than the moon goes around. Well, this is because, well, when it hit, well, that's in a wider orbit too. But that spin, the rotation of the moon, was set up, well, the way it hit, they were molten, because you have elastomeric principle, elastomeric properties. You have density properties. You have all kinds of different properties that come into play when planetary objects collide. The density of one versus the other. If one has a real heavy density and one has a real light density, well, guess which one's going to win? A light density? A low density? A low density like marshmallows versus a high density like a steel hammer? What do you think's going to win? The steel hammer, of course! You smash a marshmallow into bits with a steel hammer. Yeah, try a 10-pound sledgehammer in a marshmallow, an animal. What do you think happens? See, this is my point. And so if one ball is kind of set up and the other is more molten, which one's going to be the one that's going to take the hit? The more molten one's going to be the one that's going to absorb the more solid one. If the more molten one's bigger, the more solid one's going to be sucked into it or maybe go through it like our moon. See what I'm saying? So it sets up that all the motion is set up is determined by all the differences of the physical properties of each body. If you think in terms, you can do simple math, like when you go to Walter Lewin stuff, and you see some of his stuff about motion, you'll get into that. All of that is simplified into to assume that the bodies are the same materials. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. They're simplified for the communicating of the principle. And education now has modified. Okay. We're into the Phrygian mode. Everybody knows about Phrygian. Interaction, oscillation, freaking. We have another word. It might be inappropriate to say. You knew exactly what I was going to say. She knew exactly what I was going to say. It's funny. All right, the Phrygian mode. Wednesday, the day for weddings. The biblical wedding. How about that? That's what I meant. Of course. That's the inappropriate thing to say. Okay, so, but that's when, see, you think like this. When we were all mono, we were infinitely lonely and infinitely bored. So we decided to move from that. Monday, move, mono, all those M words, do. We decided to do it, to do twain, and have the rays of light for raw. We took our first week of planning stages to wed me, to wed us, to become one, to become many, but also be one. This is the Phrygian mode, the day for unifying and unity. And through that, all right, that's where the ancient meanings of these words. We have the Thursday for thoroughness. We have Lydia, came the daughters. Okay? Came the daughters, the fair ones. Females. Lydian mode. Lydia was one of the oldest Greek cities, probably actually the first Greek city was Lydia. Don't quote me on that one. Don't quote me on that one. That's just a theory, it's not fact. What is fact is that the Lydian mode starts on F. And it just so happens that, well, it's F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, that's it. See, and then you get each mode just by simply going up one. So, and it's simple what the daughters meant. Everybody knows what offspring of the interaction. So when you have mental cognition and you have mental intercourse with people, it gives off, the word intercourse means anything that is interacting with each other. So that's when intercourse began in the Phrygian mode, the Wednesdays. When the weddings began, that's when the interaction, the boredom went away. The loneliness, we were all really lonely on Monday. We decided to do Tuesday, loneliness went away. Boredom persisted. That's when weddings began. Okay, all right, then the boredom went away. Okay, through the weddings came the daughters, the Thursdays. Okay, thoroughness. And then we move up to fruition, Mixolydain modes. Oh, my type. You know, the ones kind of got both parts, you know, the female pelvis, and I got the little Y hanging off the XX, huh? How about that? So, Mixolydain modes. In August, it's G Mixolydain. Okay? And see, that's how they got to, in terms of genetics. Okay? See, everything begins in asexual, but from when it begins to become gendered, or sex divided into poles, polarized. In polarization, it begins at the female side. Predominantly female. That's what the genetic, anyway. But there's, it's balanced though, because immediately through that we have the Aeolian modes. Now, see, this can be expressed genetically this way. See, where I, being a Mixolydain, a hermaphrodite, in between the sexes, have a female pelvis, but, and I have this big scar down there where you have your girly parts. They took mine as a baby. I want mine back. I think Medicaid should pay for it. What do you think? It would be corrective surgery instead of elective surgery. Because I was born with my... And no, I need my medical records to be corrected too, where they say, because they say male because of my name and what they said in my birth certificate. They need to be corrected to what my actual genetics are. Because my x-rays, that's what's wrong with. I could show you those x-rays. Where are they? Oh, they're right at reach right here. See, we'll show that to you real quick. We're going to take license on the spouse's x-rays first. Okay. Go back. Go back a little bit, show you that. Okay. The spousal x-rays from the spouse when we were had the other side. And you look, here's the pelvic. Right now. Okay, pelvic exam. Actually, this is the spinal exam. You see the markings for the scoliosis. This was Karen. Okay? Karen Maxine Yeager, second cousin to Chuck. I was so impressed. No, I found that out. I just loved that part of it. I loved her besides that. Like my song says, you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be a genius to be loved. That's all. You know, that's all I need. See?
That's right.
Yeah, that's all. That's what that means. Okay.
Let's see.
Then I'm not going to teach you anything. I don't care. If you're worthy of love, that's it. And to me, if you're honest, you're worthy. That's it. Okay, this was somebody else. This was mine. You know what's wrong? With this girl's the same. Look, you can see. Put it up to the light. Here, I'll hold it up to the light real quick. See. Come on. Stupid little cheap tripod. All right, so there was Karen's pelvic x-ray, okay? So you can say, okay, that was what was wrong with this girl's, that's what's wrong with this girl. She had a scoliosis. Okay, so now you can hold this up, and I did this to people. Hold this x-ray up like this and go, okay, what's wrong with this girl's x-ray? What do you see wrong there? Not a whole bit. There's a tiny, itty-bitty scoliosis, but not much. But guess what? What's wrong with it? The frickin' name says male. That's what's wrong with it. Down here, it doesn't show the boy parts that are hanging off the female pelvis, that are in the tissue, that are just tissue. Sexuality is deeper than what's your gender, what's on your skin. It gets down to the bone, baby. That's what I'm trying to teach the world. One of the big first lessons in all of my educational whatever I'm doing, that's the big lesson about it when it comes to just a stupid little tripod. Jesus, I need a better tripod for this. But it's so light. That's what I like about it. It's light. Anyway, but that's what it comes down to. Comes down to just that, where the world doesn't know. It's ignorant of it, and almost doesn't want to learn. And guess what happens? It's like our power company. We get supposed to go. They got to say, we would go with what the president says. Oh, you know, they're demonstrating it. The same mentality, which is stupidity. If the president's doing something stupid, why do it? I tell you what's stupid. Oh, rolling back all the ecological moves. Okay? Oh, here's our association, VEA, what they do. This disturbed the heck out of me. It really damaged my psyche and caused me to go a little manic. Okay? Is they took and changed the software on the kiosk. The software now goes and it asks for, first you got to go and accept their thing or policy. You hit accept button. That's step one. The very first time, you know, it was the original one. You scan your card and it takes you to thing. You put in your name and it takes you where you want to pay, and then you pay. And then when you're done, it gives you a choice of whether you want to email a bill for ecological purposes or get one in paper if you're a stupid head and you want some trees to die. Okay, you see what I'm saying? And so that's what disturbed me was they took that away, the email option. I cared less about going through a few steps for some security, having to put in my phone number, having to push in a button. Who cares? It takes a couple extra times. They got this fast pass thing you can make that forces a piece of paper on you with the scan barcode you got to carry to the thing. That's stupid too. It's printed in this damn disappearing ink. When it gets hot, it disappears. More stupidity. It's stupidity on stupidity on stupidity on stupidity. And when I got done with it, I was so stupid and rage and angry from the stupidity, I was stupid. And I went in there with a receipt, crumpled it all up, smashed it on the counter. Oh, when I went in comments to waiting for the lady, nice lady, but the poor guy at the other window said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Oh, I guess I can complain to you as easily as I complain to anybody else." And I went up there and I bolted on him. Just dumped it on him. I went, "Oh, in that voice like that." And I took him down. Took him into a level of fear. And the security guard shows up. And the helper shows up. No, because I said it all so quick and so precise with such a poignancy. See? But I really wasn't manic. But I was on the edge. I was there. You know, if they just tried to stop me from walking out of the door, something bad would have happened. Because I was done. I was headed out the door. Don't need that. But, I didn't hurt nobody. All I did was make my point that the piece of paper, give me back the email option. I don't care. I don't care about your fast pass stuff. I like the plastic card. I'll use it to my death. Okay? But give me back the email option. So I don't have to get a piece of paper back. That's right. So I don't have to know that some tree died for my piece of paper. So I don't have to know that there's some stupid ink on it that's going to disappear. My email receipts don't disappear. I can download them in a digital file, keep them forever. Right? Right. I put them in a fireproof box, put them in a waterproof, fireproof box. Guess what? They're there. Right? Unless the chip dies, and that's very rare. All that can happen. But, if they're a waterproof, fireproof, EMP-proof box. All right, let's move on. We did Mixolydain mode. Well, hold on. We're going to finish Aeolian mode. Okay. The Saturdays was saturation. That's where the boys come in. Say, why is it saturation? Why is it Aeolian mode? Okay. So spiritually, you might think of it. Well, that's where we were going on. Ayo, looking for partners. Okay. Anyway, we're looking for ahoy. Going ayo, looking for an ahoy in our ship. Across the ocean of the sea of life. It's a poem. I'll get into that poem later. It'd be great. It's a great poem. Okay, but I gotta find it. It's something one I did for a girl that we met. It was after Karen. I met with Karen. We were with Karen, but I did a lot of working out in the field or whatever, and she would let me just kind of do what I needed to do wherever. And so I hired this girl, Faith, for a while. And, Faith Marie Christian. Some very interesting anagrams came from both of our names, I might add. Which we'll get into that one day when we're into our religious theory. Okay? As theologists. Okay. All right, so anyway, the Aeolian mode. Well, why, Aeolian mode, think like this. Think genetics. You know what happens to a man's pelvis? In the process, from going to female pelvis shape in the process of development, when the hormones start taking over, okay, in the womb, in the first trimesters, when things start moving around and stuff like that, okay, the pelvis that would otherwise be female shifts position, changes shape. Men's anus is in a different spot according to their hips. And according to the pubic bone, it moved over closer to the pubic, moved down. The hips aren't as wide; they should shrink together. They do not have to give birth, so they're not prepared. They're not shaped to give birth. That's why female pelvis is a female pelvis. There's 3 stages of growth. If you look at it, I get one of my medical books out. I'll show you one of these days. Okay, but I put the medical book up here on the stand, and I'll show the rest of the world too. The whole world needs to learn about the sequence of process and how it all happens and how hermaphrodites happen and understand that hermaphrodites happen. All the medical industry needs to change anything, and we need a DNA test every baby. And it needs to be put on their medical records accordingly. So they're treated accordingly, because treating a woman is different than treating a man, and it's also different than treating a hermaphrodite, because we're one half of a man, one half of a woman. See, and there's the real thing. Neglected, the smallest minority on the planet. And neglected. And there's our position. And for a while, Bruce Jenner said, oh yeah, and people that gender, and the brain and all that, But what about us that are born this way and mistreated all our lives? We count too. The Me Too generation has me stepping up and going, what about us hermaphrodites? Okay? Right. You got it, don't you? And by the way, see here, I'll tell you the difference. When people say I'm talking like this and I'm yelling, people say I'm talking like this and they say I'm yelling. But I'm going to show you right now what yelling sounds like. Then when I put it in a microphone, it sounds like this even more. So now that's another education thing I'm teaching you. The difference between a yell and a poignant tone. So there, you learned that too. Now we're on to the very last mode, the alien mode. Looking back, locring mode. Is it good what we did? Here, let's go down here so we can have it on the lines. Okay, is it good what we did? Did we teach somebody?
Yes.
Did we show people many truths in what we did? Alien mode. From the locring mode right here. B. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. That's 7 days. And in the Bible it talks about, and God looked back and said it was good. Come on, Sabrina. Come and say goodbye to everybody. Now, here, come here. Come on. Come and get on the camera for a minute for this episode. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come over here. Come on, baby. Yeah, come on, honey. Come on. Come on. Come on up for a minute. Come on. Come on, stand up. There you go. That's a girl. Yeah, we taught everybody really good about a lot of things today, didn't we? Including music. Yes, we did. So, okay. Now, pay attention, stay tuned, watch our other playlists, like we're going to make one for space, okay, where our Public Space Association stuff, or videos for that, will be in that video. But other people's videos and stuff, anything about space that we watch on YouTube, we'll put in that playlist, and it'll be great. We'll have videos commenting about that stuff, and our own videos about the space stuff we're doing, and all that. And by the way, we didn't know, we're introducing the Public Space Association right now. Everybody needs to know. Everybody, all of life, everybody that occupies space is a member. Okay? And that's it. No, not cut yet. I'm just saying, Sabrina's a member. You're a member. And so there's active members that come and talk to me in our mixers, and we talk about stuff. People with degrees can come and talk to me, please. You can come. You're a member, active. We can work stuff out. I don't really need your help to work out my motor. I figured it out anyway. But if you want to come and learn about it and get involved and make it happen faster, that would be great. I would love it. People are going to help come and make, somebody can donate me a laser cutter or one of those, something to cut sheet metals and lay it out on CAD and go slice and make all these pieces quick. Somebody can help wind windings, make those windings, that kind of thing. No, not cut yet. Not done yet. Not done speaking about all this stuff. So anyway, but that's part of what the idea of the mixers are for, is to bring people together on this. And so I want you to know there's other people been out there, the scammers that and I got one person out there, the Hover Brothers, finds out, one of the guys are closing all that stuff, he's refunding the money because one of the partners wasn't honest and scammed him or whatever. So when I commented, I said, get in touch with me. But we're not about commercialization. We're a Public Space Association. Everything I'm doing is right out in the public. Okay, not hiding anything. Okay? That's how that works. That's how we're going to be. Well, what we do isn't patentable either. But guess what? guess what? We're going to release it to the world can use it. So after we get our little chair that we can fly around from, okay, everybody knows it works. Everybody knows that we can fly our little chair around and do some work with us, maybe take the places of cranes and stuff, maybe set some air conditioners, that kind of stuff, with our craft, with our easy chair, our flying easy chair, like, what's his name in Futurama? Dr. Farnsworth. Yeah, but his had rockets. We don't want to use rockets. That's the thing. But for a space station, the space station Lagrange, well, maybe we should build one Lagrange 2 instead of Lagrange 3. It's a little closer. It could move to Lagrange orbit 3 after it's built, after it's got some build in it. But see, the thing is that when we get to it, we go opposite Earth orbit. We're only 3 months away from Lagrange 3 if you go opposite orbit. Everybody knows. Oh, nobody. They don't tell you can go opposite Earth orbit at Earth orbit speed. They don't know that, but you can. Okay, orbit is not rotation direction specific. Okay, anyway. So yeah, low cream mode. Looking back, God said it was good, and so yeah, I think we're good. So that was this episode. Now, whether you believe in God or not, or higher DP or whatever, but here's what we believe in. We believe in us, and we believe in humanity. We believe humanity can achieve world peace. So, through the process of understanding, sharing love. Let's love each other. Loving each other is what's really important. Remember Bob Marley had one love. Remember that, right? Well, see, some people, this is one of the problems, is people took that, convoluted it, they went and cut off children's hands in Africa, in Cameroon, screaming one love. That's not love. No. Is it? No, that ain't love. No way. Anyway. So, one of the things, part of the meaning of that song, learn to love. Gotta learn what love is. And it's certainly not hurting people. It's certainly not shooting people. It's not stabbing people. Is it? That's not love, is it?
That's dark.
No, that's really dark. I'll tell you what love is. I'll show you an example of love. Right there. There is love. That's an example of love. So, hey, love. Yeah, there she goes. She can say goodbye. Say goodbye. Yeah, Say goodbye. Here, hop up there. Say goodbye, everybody. Okay. Yeah, say goodbye. Yeah, Sabrina says goodbye. She says she loves you, everyone. Huh? Doesn't she? Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. She loves everybody. Yeah, she does. Yeah. She wagged her tail so fast you'd think she'd fly, using biased kinetic or centrifugal force propulsion. Oh, I can show you. Before I close, real quick, I'll give you a real quick demonstration of that. While look in the camera with Sabrina. Oh, there she goes. Okay. We'll close with a little quick demonstration of biased centrifugal force propulsion. And you see that people try this. There's an apparatus out there that do the wiggly thing. Okay? That's it. You do that, it goes that way. Anyway, force 1 greater than force 2, it's going to go in the direction of force 1. That's how that works. But, you know what? Those don't work because guess what? You try to go upwards against gravity, they fly apart. So anyway, bye, see you later. Watch my videos, watch for my space videos, okay? This will be in both playlists. It'll be in, I'm going to click a life recycled because there's stuff for life recycled in this. I'm going to click the playlist Music Fact for Everyone because there's stuff for Music Fact for Everyone in this. And then I'm also going to create on this movie, and I got a couple others where I talked about my innovations or started to introduce them, okay, from my research.
Show it tonight at your mixer.
Well, yeah, I will, yeah. I mean, I'm going to do more at the mixer. I'm going to publish this right away. It's right after I close it, I'm going to have to go.
Good job.
Yeah, and then unedited. But anyway, so yeah, this is gonna be unedited. Don't worry, you didn't show up in there, so you didn't show up visually. You're in there by voice only.
Yeah, virtual.
You're in a narration.
I'm camera shy.
Yeah. So you're camera shy, so you're in a narrator's or technically an exterior participant's view position.
For that.
Yeah. So anyway, what do they call that? The discrete observer. You're the discrete observer. Yeah, you're the discrete observer. Anyway, so so this will also be on the space playlist for stuff. I think I'm going to call it playlist every whatever space. Whatever space with a big question, string of questions.
I'm curious what your feedback's going to be.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I do. I'm starting to get some feedback. I got some feedback from Dr. James. Now he's studied. He's got accreditation. Okay, he's one of our. He's become. I consider him an active member in the Space Association because we've spoken about stuff. He's studying. His field of research is psychotronics, and what psychotronics is. Here, let me set the camera up just a little bit. We're not quite done. We're getting there. We'll be done. Anyway, his field is he calls it psychotronics. He's created this thing. It's some kind of either generates it artificially or amplifies it. And he's not sure, but it's like the psychic phenomenon thing. He can get crystals to communicate energy to aluminum and have the aluminum move. Induce kinesis in the aluminum through this energy, which you can't do any other way, But you put the crystal, you let go of it. Oh, I need to ask him that. If you put the crystal up there and let go of it, if you use an insulator, if you step away from put it away from your body, do you still get the effect? See, there's a lot of weird stuff, research that's going on in those areas that's kind of obscure because mainstream scientists are afraid of it because it's taboo. But I think we're in an age of enlightenment now where we can open up and go, all right, these phenomenon are genuine. Okay? And they need to be studied further. So in the process of taking what I've done, taking high school physics and used it to figure out biased centrifugal propulsion in a fashion that's not going to explode when it does its thing against gravity. I figured it out. You've got to have just enough, the right combination of everything. It has to be just a perfect balance. Once you get it, you got it. Okay. The Roswell craft, they reverse engineer. That one that's so inefficient. It just spins a bunch of mass. It takes a huge amount of power to spin all this mass in a huge flexible gyro, and then it just warps this gyro into precession and grabs a hold of it because once a fluid gyro when it's spinning is not necessarily connected to an axle, so it responds differently than a gyro that's connected to an axle, a solid gyro. So its precession is going to be different. It's going to be this warping thing that goes on. So what they do, the Roswell craft, what it does is grab a hold of this fluid gyro as it warps in precession and grab a hold of it and work it and work that and fly on it. But
now you come to fruition.
It's so inefficient.
You started with Roswell, you ended with Roswell.
It's so inefficient. So inefficient. It's 2% efficient or so. Less. It barely flies the craft. And they rely on other propulsion to go. Okay? See what I'm saying? They probably use this thing Dr. James is studying, this psychotronic energy to in conjunction with electromagnetic and plasma fields.
Well, I gotta go, so I will.
Anyway, yeah, okay. She's got to go, so we're gonna
Next time.
end this. See y'all later. Bye.